Delegate Nelson, Delegate Moore, Capito, and Delegate Byrd. We're honored to have one of our newest members of Kanawha County, St. Albans. He's a year and a half in his post, Mayor Scott James, wonderful St. Albans.
Gentleman from the 13th, Delegate Higginbotham.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the West Gallery, I'm pleased to welcome Chloe Bailey from Putnam County. She's a junior at Buffalo High School. She's a 4-H member and intends to go to Shepherd University and pursue a career as a lawyer. If the House would please make her feel welcome.
Further introductions of guests. Reports of standing committees.
The Committee on Government Organization has had under consideration House Bill 2128, allowing state employees to take paid leave to attend parent-teacher conference for their children. Reports back a committee substitute, therefore, with the recommendation that the committee substitute do pass and that the second reference to the Committee on Finance be dispensed with.
Report to be received. Lady from the 49th.
Mr. Speaker, the two chairs have conferred on this matter, and I now ask unanimous consent the second reference of the bill to the Committee on Finance be dispensed with.
Lady from the 49th asks unanimous consent that the second reference to the Committee on Finance on House Bill 2128 be dispensed with. Is there objection? Is there objection? Chair hears none. Second reference is dispensed with. Further committee reports.
Your Committee on Government Organization has had under consideration House Bill 2028, limiting supervision of laying of lines on state rights-of-way, and House Bill 2038, relating to the procedure to determine if an occupation or profession should be regulated. Reports back committee substitutes, therefore, with recommendation that the committee substitutes each do pass.
Committee report will be received. Further committee reports.
Your Committee on Judiciary has had under consideration House Bill 2184, removing restrictions on where certain traditional lottery games may be played. Reports the same back with recommendation that it do pass, that it be referred to Committee on Finance.
Report to be received. Bill be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Your Committee on Judiciary has had under consideration House Bill 2183, clarifying where a charge of DUI may be brought against an individual. Reports back a committee substitute, therefore, with the recommendation that the committee substitute do pass.
Committee report will be received. Further reports of standing committees. Reports of select committees. Messages from the executive. Messages from the Senate. Resolutions.
House Resolution 5, honoring United States Army Specialist 4 Carmel Harvey, Jr.
Lady from the 49th.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the further reading of resolutions introduced be dispensed with and that they be considered as formally introduced and referred to the appropriate committees as indicated on the chamber automation system.
Lady from the 49th asks unanimous consent that further reading of resolutions introduced be dispensed with and that each resolution be considered as having been formally introduced and referred to the committees as shown on the chamber automation system. Is there objection? Chair hears no objection. Petitions.
Delegate Boggs presents a petition signed by citizens of the state in support of increased funding for senior centers.
Petition will be referred to the Committee on Finance. Further petitions, motions, bills introduced.
House Bill 2003, extending expungement of certain criminal convictions.
Lady from the 49th.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the further reading of bills introduced be dispensed with and they be considered as formally introduced and referred to the appropriate committees as indicated on the chamber automation system.
Lady from the 49th asks unanimous consent that further reading of bills introduced be dispensed with and that each bill be considered having formally introduced and referred to the appropriate committees as shown on the chamber automation system. Is there objection? Is there objection? Chair hears no objection. So ordered. Special calendar, unfinished business. Bills on third reading. Bills on second reading. Bills on first reading.
House Bill 2164, clarifying that appeals to the Supreme Court are a matter of right.
Bill to be advanced.
House Bill 2351, relating to regulating prior authorizations.
Bill to be advanced. Further bills on first reading. Leaves of absence. Remarks by members of the House. Gentleman from the 16th, Delegate Hornbuckle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In celebrating Marshall University Day today, we will have lunch hosted by Marshall University in House Education and House Finance directly after the floor session. Thank you.
Further remarks by members of the House. Introduction of guests. Introduction of guests. Miscellaneous business. Lady from the 49th. Lady from the 49th moves that, subject to announcements, the House stand adjourned until 11 a.m. on Tuesday. Are there announcements? Gentleman from the 10th, Delegate Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Finance will meet Monday afternoon at 2 p.m. with a budget hearing for Higher Education Policy Commission. Then at 3 p.m. we will continue with a budget presentation from the Council for Community and Technical College Education. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from the 35th, Delegate Capito.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on the Judiciary will continue its posted agenda at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Thank you.
Lady from the 38th, Delegate Graves.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Pensions and Retirement will meet at 4 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon in the House Finance Committee room. The agenda will be posted.
Gentleman from the 21st, Delegate Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There will be a presentation at 2 o'clock today by the Auditor's Office on wvcheckbook.gov. This presentation will be in the House Education Committee room and is open for any member who'd like to learn more about that software.
Gentleman from the 28th, Delegate Pack.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Government Organization will meet today at 2 p.m. in the House Government Organization Committee room, and the agenda will be posted.
Gentleman from the 7th, Delegate Harshbarger.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Committee on Agriculture and Natural Resources will meet tomorrow morning at 8:30 in Government Org to do organizational motions and also presentations by organizations. Thank you.
Gentleman from the 27th, Delegate Ellington.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Health and Human Resources will meet tomorrow at 2 o'clock. The Republican members of that caucus will meet in the chairman's office at 1:30 for caucus.
Gentleman from the 53rd, Delegate Jennings.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Committee on Fire and EMS will meet at 4 o'clock and a GovOrg agenda will be posted.
Gentleman from the 16th, Delegate Limble.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The members of the majority party of your Committee on Technology and Infrastructure will caucus at 12:50 p.m. today in the Chairman's office, room 207E.
Gentleman from the 46th, Delegate Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Industry and Labor will meet tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the Government Organization Room. The agenda will be posted.
Gentleman from the 58th, Delegate Coles.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Committee on Political Subdivisions will meet tomorrow, Tuesday, January 15th at 1 p.m. in the House Education Room. The agenda will be posted.
Gentleman from the 16th, Delegate Linville.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In addition to the caucus, your Committee on Technology and Infrastructure will meet at 1 p.m. today in the Government Organization Room. The agenda has been posted.
Gentleman from the 37th, Delegate Pushkin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Democratic members of the Committee on Health and Human Resources will meet tomorrow at 1:30 in room 233E.
Are there further announcements? Are there further announcements? If not, the question before the House is the motion by the lady from the 49th that the House stand adjourned until 11 a.m. tomorrow, Tuesday, January the 15th. Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed will say no. Ayes have it and the motion carries. The House is adjourned until 11 a.m. tomorrow.